Welcome to the New Mom Talk podcast, your go-to podcast for evidence-based answers to your burning questions about parenting. Join us as we dive into commonly Googled topics and hear from experts and real moms. Let's navigate parenthood together, one question at a time. Hi, everyone. I am really excited about today. We're going to talk a little bit about finding that work-mom life balance with Aly, who is a Chief Revenue Officer. So I'm going to hand it over to you if you can start off with telling us about yourself and what you do.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. And I oversee essentially all revenue channels for my family's business. My family has a winery that's been around since 1883. I'm a fifth generation family member. It's called Wente Vineyards. And in that role, I oversee all of our hospitality businesses, which we have 2 tasting rooms, a golf course, a grill, catering and events team on site here. Then I also oversee marketing. So that's really, any way that we can create demand for our product. And then I oversee sales. So we sell our wines in 70 countries around the world. So we have a large wholesale business as well. So it's a fun job. It keeps me very busy. And the juggle of mom life balance is so real.
Wow. I love your wine. I had the pleasure of visiting one of your tasting rooms in Livermore, right? Is that where it is?
Yes. That's it.
When I first met years ago when I was moved to the Bay Area. So with that, let's just go ahead and dive in. What are the most common reasons that you find that moms tend to struggle between that career and home life balance with such a demanding role such as yours, or really, and motherhood is a demanding role?
Yes, it is. Motherhood is a demanding role. It's funny. My husband and I talk about this a lot. I feel like the world in which we all live in is set up for one working parent. And it is really hard to make ends meet when you have 2 working parents. It's like it's set up for one working parent, but financially 2 working parents is normally what's needed. If you can do it with one, that's amazing. I do think being a stay-at-home mom, like full-time mom, maybe even harder than what I do, for different reasons. So I have so much appreciation. But, I think it's this like constant pull of what is your priority today. And you never want to feel like your children or your family or your husband isn't your top priority for the day. But, sometimes you feel the pull towards work or vice versa. And I think it's this constant struggle. I know when I have, especially during the winter months, when you go through those periods of time where kids are sick all the time. I mean, I feel constantly at a battle with, why am I working? This isn't working for us. I'm not even at work because my kids are sick all the time. I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. So I'm like very much in like that.
You're in the trenches.
I'm in the trenches, of like sickness incubation and being held all the time. So yeah, it's a bit chaotic. So, I don't know someone said this on I think it was another podcast I listened to, and I can't remember exactly who it was. It was this concept of you can be a really good mother, a really good wife, and a great employee. You might not be all 3 on one given day, but every day is a new day. So it's okay if you are not the best mother one day and you happen to be more of a stellar employee. The next day you could try to be a better mother, in your eyes, prioritize your kids more than your work. And that's how you find the balance. So for me, that's sort of the motto I live by in order to keep my sanity.
Well, and it is true. Like you're not always going to be great at all 3 things. And kind of how you mentioned, just like being at home and being a parent alone, like you don't get a break. There is no, oh, you know what? I've been working for 4 hours. I'm due for my 15-minute break. I'm going to go sit down. Like if baby is sick and holding on to you, sorry.
And I think you need to have so much patience. To be that person, you need so much patience. And I think I'm a relatively patient person, but I don't have enough patience for that. So that's why I'm like, we all have to decide like what's our calling and where do we belong to. And I think for me, I just know that, well, I do enjoy work and I enjoy supporting my family's business and kind of pushing that legacy forward. I don't know if I could be a full-time stay-at-home mom, but there's times I question it all because, it's hard to make ends meet.
I get it. I think every mom listening is like, yep, I know what she means.
We're all hanging onto our sanity by a thread, I think.
Let's talk a little bit about maybe some like non-negotiables versus ones that you really can't put on the back burner when it comes to identifying what takes priority and what we've taken on just out of habit or guilt. Like, for example, I'm going to say if you iron clothes, I don't do that. But if you iron clothes, right, is that a non-negotiable for you? For me, I'm like, yeah, my kids are just going to wear wrinkly clothes. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. And no, I definitely don't have time to iron clothes. I like the laundry is always piling up. So I think for me, the non-negotiables is more around like just my time management and how I balance it all, I guess. So I like at work, like I really won't take, especially on a Thursday, my husband has 7 a.m. calls every Thursday. Occasionally, people will try to put 8 a.m. meetings on my calendar on Thursdays. I just won't do it. I won't do it because there is no way. It's very hard for me to get myself ready, get my kids ready and to school, out the door. They're in preschool. So, the timing isn't as like hard as true school, but it's too hard for me to accomplish all and be on a call by 8 a.m. So I'm like, I have like a lot of non-negotiables around like what I know I'm capable of and what I say it's not worth the stress to try to achieve this. And I will tell people to find another time. I think there was a point in my career where I didn't understand my voice to be able to say that I had a rigid schedule or I have on my calendar blocked at 4:30 to 5 every day of the week so I can leave my work on time and go get my kids from preschool by 5 o'clock. Technically, they could get school until 5:30, but if I leave them there until 5:30, they are a mess. And then that ruins my entire night. So it's sort of like my like time management is my non-negotiable because it's like what keeps things steady state. And again, like my sanity.
And that's something that's very realistic for moms to be able to also be able to fit into their day to day of like, this is a time where I'm blocking out, whether it's just for me, for my own mental health, or to not have my phone. Because we're constantly, if you're not doing something with your kids, you're on your phone doing something that requires your attention, say a grocery list or trying to order the new pair of shoes that your kid needs. Like,
Yeah.
there's no stopping.
The list goes on and on. It's so crazy.
I love it. So, because you mentioned that kind of time management boundary, do you find that there are any effective strategies for managing both the mental load and the logistical load when it comes to a career and managing your household in order to try to just prevent that burnout?
Well, I think, like I said, my first strategy is blocking my calendar. So, like, I have calendar holds and I block them, and I'm very insane about my calendar because I have to do that. I think communication with your partner is really important. It's not easy. I travel a lot for my job. I have to travel to different states all over the place to help manage our wholesale business. It's a lot on him when I leave. Last week I was gone Monday to Friday. I was alone with the kids for 5 days in a row, and he has a stressful job. So for us, it's just like solid communication, getting things set up. Have to use my weekends to prepare my husband to be alone with the kids for 5 days. So I think for me, it's forward-looking planning, good communication, and then just knowing it's never going to be perfect, like quite frankly. And the burnout is real, and sometimes there are burnouts. And I'm a strong believer too in going, like taking vacation and having personal time. I think my husband and I are like very good about, and we take trips without the kids often. Like we're lucky to have in-laws who will help a couple times a year. And I think investing in your relationship too, for me, is very important. You have to like inspire the joy. Like you feel constantly burnt out when you're pulled in a million directions. And I think inspiring the relationship and your love and where you're going, I think is also for me a priority.
So true. And it's also really nice and exciting to get dressed up because I live in athleisure wear. So
Yeah.
anytime that I get to wear heels out and I don't have to worry about running after a 4-year-old it's nice, right? And you're like, it's like we're dating again. Like you
Yes.
definitely need to bring
Have to
that back.
continue to date. Yeah, I think you do. I don't, my parents told me that like to actually prioritize your relationship with each other above the kids because the stronger you make it for the two of you, the more helpful it will be for the kids. And I know there's, people in all different phases of relationships or single moms. And I recognize this maybe is only just about like a traditional married couple this advice, but I think for us, we do try to do that because it does, when we're feeling good with each other, it feels much better for everybody. So I think it's smart. You have to and have fun and date and like go dress up and put your heels on.
Hey mama, if you're breastfeeding, you already know how much your body is doing. But here's something wild. You need 16 cups of water per day while you're nursing. She's Flowing from Legendary Milk, the #1 lactation brand, is a blackberry lemonade drink mix that supports your milk supply and keeps you hydrated in one delicious stick pack. Just add it to your water and you're done. Moringa, goat's rue, milk thistle, trusted herbs, awesome flavor. Find She's Flowing at legendarymilk.com.
Yeah, because I feel like it doesn't matter whether you are a working mom or a stay-at-home mom, which is also a working mom. When you do have time to sit down and communicate with your partner, it's usually about like the day-to-day of like, so-and-so has soccer tomorrow at this time, and we need to do this on the weekends. Can you add this to your calendar? It's all about like the function of the house and never just to enjoy each other's company.
100%. You can just get lost in the mundane really easily. And so I think that's why it's important to take yourself out of it. Even if you're just going on a date night is perfect. If you can schedule those, even just to schedule at least once a month, if you can. I would say we try for a couple times a month, or we like to take a weekend trip here and there. We're actually headed to Italy, which is a very big one, on tomorrow. And we're leaving the kids for a stretch. And so we don't leave them for this long very often. Really, I've never actually left both of my kids for this long before. But I think we're going to come back 10 times better parents because we're going to like get a true, break and a refresh. So that'll be good.
You're going to sleep? Oh my gosh, I'm jealous.
Right. Right? No interruptions, no nightmares, no cries. Yeah, it'll be nice.
Well, do you have any like systems, routines, and some outside supports? You mentioned a little bit here and there, or any that you could offer for parents to look into if they're just so overwhelmed? Like, I love the idea of blocking your calendar. Here at home, I am not very good at it, but I try to use the Skylight calendar so that it easily goes onto my husband's calendar of I'm like, okay, or send him calendar invites of like, we have this going on the weekend.
Yes, I do. That's a great tool. I do, like, while I block my calendar, I block my husband's calendar too. Like his work calendar. I don't send it to his personal email. I send it to his work email. So I know it goes like physically on his calendar. When do the kids have baseball practice? When is the game, like the game schedules? Is there something going on at school? Everything. If I want to have a girls' night, like if I go to book club, I put it on his calendar, so that he can prepare for it and plan around it. So as you can tell, calendar blocking is definitely my thing. But then, I also think, and this is, again, I think a stage of life we're in where I think you have to ask for help. I think it's hard to do it all on your own. So whether it's an in-law, whether it's your sister, whether it's your parents, whether it's a babysitter, we're really lucky to have had like a nanny that helped us with our kids when they were little before preschool. Now they're in preschool and she'll help us, occasionally at nights. And even just a couple hours of breaks is nice and helpful, so you don't have to spend tons of money on a babysitter. I think even just a couple hours is helpful. So I think, those are some of the tips and tricks that I do. I think there's also one thing I've done that's been really helpful for me. Like in our preschool, we've set up WhatsApp groups with the moms in the class. So it's actually like kind of a fun little village where we all keep each other informed of soccer signups are open right now, or, hey, did you guys see this? Or is anyone else's kid feeling sick? We like share things with each other. And I think that like extra community of moms makes it easier on a day-to-day of just feeling like you have more resources to ask. We're all kind of blindly reaching around in this. So the village is important.
Yes, I so agree with that. And I think like I always say this, as a first-time mom, it is so hard to ask for help because you have this idea that you can do it all. You're going to come, you're going to recover, your house is going to be spotless. You can do all the cooking from scratch, but you're not sleeping. And so asking anyone for help, if you can afford it, to get somebody a couple times a week, even to do something like a mother's helper. I have one and it's so nice because they help me with like keeping up with the laundry so that I can spend time with my baby.
I need that. I've been sending I'm getting targeted on Instagram by mothers helpers who are like filming themselves cleaning up the house and
I
stuff.
saw that yesterday for the first time.
Could watch it all day. I'm like, this looks like heaven.
Yeah,
Oh,
like they like organize your entire pantry. It's
they do amazing things. So I'm very jealous of you officially now. And I have been sending them to my husband. And I'm like, I think this is something that we need. So I'm like, that would be great. Right now we have a house cleaner who comes twice a month, which is amazing too. It just like, I think like where you can, if you can afford to like unload different burdens and get some help, I recommend it. But yeah, Mother's Helper. That's so nice.
or get creative and do like a trade with a friend of, hey, you watch my kids for X amount of hours and then I'll do it on a different day.
Yes.
There's ways to, be able to try to get a little bit creative on that. But yes, Mother's Helper, highly recommend because it allows you, I always justify it in the sense of it's either I'm going to pay for a babysitter so I can get this stuff done, or I can pay for somebody to do it. And then I get to spend that time with my kids.
Which is great. So yeah, they're both good. Yeah, but I think having a mother's helper would be a blessing. So I think that is amazing for sure. And I agree with you on the swaps. My sister and I will do that with each other. Like we'll take each other's kids for a little while just so everyone gets a break. And our kids are having more fun because they're playing with their cousins. So, it's also like sometimes more is sometimes more is not more for you. It's actually better because the kids are just playing and having a great time and then you feel good because you gave them a special experience.
Yeah, you can take them to the park. I mean, you're going to take them to the park anyway, and they're going to play with some new friends. Might as well say, I'll take your kids.
Exactly.
Well, finally, my last question. Do you have any other tips, suggestions, or recommendations to help with just like the overwhelming or the high demands or the prevention of burnout?
Gosh, I wish I did. I think someone told me once that like work-life balance is not a real thing. And I kind of agree. Like, like where is equilibrium? Like, is there truly balance? I think it is your perspective on how you're feeling each day. And for me, there are days I truly do feel completely burnt out. But like I said, a good night of sleep, do something for you. My like health regimen totally fell off the face of the earth. I stopped exercising. I stopped doing a lot of stuff because I just felt so impossibly busy at work and with the kids. And I just like didn't have time and I kept making excuses. Well, my kids wake up at 5. I don't have time to work out. Then I have to work all day. I'm in the office or I'm traveling. I don't have time for like myself. And then at the start of this year, I was like, okay, that's just an excuse. If I invest in me, I'm going to feel better about the way I'm approaching my life and the burnout. And so I've really committed to it. And yes, I do. I like wake up at 5 to work out most days. Even this morning, I was up at like 5:30 to work out. We were out to dinner last night. So it was rough waking up that early, but I feel 10 times better when I do it. And then it's a positive start to my day. So I do think don't forget about you. It's so easy to forget about you and you have to prioritize yourself.
I definitely used to feel that way too with like, oh, well, my daughter is up, so now I can't run on the treadmill. And I finally was like, you know what? I live in beautiful San Diego. I'm just going to grab my jogging stroller. I don't like running outside. Grab my jogging stroller, grab my dog. And now that's what I do at least once a week where I run outside if she's up and then she ends up falling asleep. And then it's like, wow, I wish you fell asleep in your crib, but it's fine.
Yeah. I know, right? There's no winning. And I do think it gets easier, now that my kids are 2 and 4. It's gotten like they're sleeping a little better. Things are getting easier. So you can figure it out easier. There's different periods and stages, I think, of motherhood and life. So, I think that's amazing you do that. And you should, keep doing that when you can. And if they don't sleep in their crib one day, but you get something for you, I say it's a win.
Worth it. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. So I'm going to have all of your info linked in the show notes for anybody that's wanting to reach out to you. If you guys have not tried her wine, I know this isn't about wine, but it is so good. Personally, I like your 2 Chardonnays, the River Ranch and the Morning Fog.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and I should say wine is important. Important in my balance of burnout. We enjoy wine in this household, and it does help.
It's work related. You can count it as work, right?
There you go. Exactly. It's very hard work.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening. Tune in next week for our next episode. You can find us on Instagram for more updates and tips. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts and give us a review if you like us.